This is a Goma ritual in the Saifukuji temple near Kagoshima in Japan. With the chanting of Sanskrit mantras and oblations to the fire, the Goma ritual is nothing but the Japanese version of the Homa or Havan rituals done by the Hindus. The Goma ritual in Zen Buddhism is a forgotten relic of the cultural link between Japan and India. This is the statue of the god Kangiten in Kyoto, established by the Japanese Emperor Gokogon in the year 1372 CE. This is the Matsuchiyama Shoten, a temple in Tokyo. Over 1,000 years old, it's possibly the oldest temple dedicated to Ganesha in Japan. The Hozanji temple in Japan's Nara prefecture is the most popular and biggest center of Kangiten worship in Japan. The elephant face of Kangiten is a clear indication that this is the Hindu god Ganesha. In Japan, Kangiten is also known as Vinayaka-ten. His other names are Ganabachi, Ganahachi and Ganahate. Sounds quite similar to Vinayaka or Ganapati, doesn't it? Like the Hindus, the Japanese too revere Ganesha as an extremely efficacious god who grants whatever is asked of him without fail. It's not just Kangiten. Yasuki Inoki, the former ambassador of Japan to India, notes that more than 80% of Japanese gods have Indian roots. This deity with a stringed instrument is Benzaiten. A patron goddess of the arts, Benzaiten is the Japanese version of goddess Saraswati. Often depicted holding a biwa or a traditional Japanese lute, similar to how Saraswati is depicted with the veena in India, Benzaiten is also portrayed wielding a sword and other weapons. Interestingly, in Japanese mythology, Benzaiten is surrounded by water. A throwback to the Saraswati river, perhaps. Daikokuten, one of the 7 deities of good fortune, is a mixture of the Japanese Shinto god Okuni Nushi and Hindu god Shiva. Daikokuten originated from Mahakala, the Buddhist version of Shiva. Shiva, in his avatar of Mahakala, was transformed into a protector of Buddhism from all demons against the virtues of Buddha. While Shiva is considered as the destroyer, Daikokuten has come to be regarded as a god of wealth and fortune. Speaking of the gods of wealth and fortune, this is the goddess Kichijoten, who is considered to be the goddess of happiness, fertility and beauty in Japanese pantheon. Kichijoten is none other than goddess Lakshmi. Bishamonten is the Japanese equivalent of the Hindu god Kuvera. Varuna, Yama, Agni and Garuda are other gods who can be found scattered across Japanese temples under different names. Apart from the gods, there are other Indian influences on Japan as well. Like in our temples, incense is used during puja by the Japanese. The Japanese also use bells, cymbals and drums during rituals. But more importantly, most of the mantras chanted to these deities are in Sanskrit. When Sanskrit language was brought to Japan from India around the 8th century CE, it was written in the then prevalent Siddham script of India. While the Siddham script in India eventually evolved to influence other scripts such as the Assamese and Tibetan scripts, it still survives in Japan in its original form. Today, the Japanese continue to use the Siddham script to write and display bijaksharas or sacred syllables and mantras. Zen Buddhist monks continue to learn Sanskrit with Siddham letters in Japan's Koyasan schools. All these instances are testimony to how the ancient Indian culture has influenced the nooks and corners of the world. While Japanese temples present a living time capsule of an ancient India, it is high time we recognize the might of our civilizational heritage that left such a powerful imprint in a faraway land.